Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 35 of the Commander's Forge. I am your host, Andy Bentley, and the Commander's Forge is an area for me to talk about magic, Commander, and basically anything else that I want to talk about. Now, today I was thinking about, with the new set coming out, how much of it I'm actually going to buy. And the truth of the matter is, there's not a ton I'm excited for in this set. Sure, there's some of the stuff that I talked about last week, but even most of that is kind of a, I don't know. So far, I plan to attend one pre-release event next week with my cousin. That's kind of it. I haven't been impressed with the Commander decks so far. I get where they were going with a lot of this stuff, but it's just not clicking with me. Which is fine. I don't need every set to be for me. But it brought up this conversation with my cousin that we don't need every set to update decks. We don't need to go spend hundreds of dollars to get cards to update decks with every set. And it took me a few years to learn that. Because don't get me wrong, I love cracking packs like the next person. And obvious reasons, we haven't been drafting recently. And it's just kind of... It's kind of the point where if I'm not going to buy singles, I'm not necessarily going to buy much else. Yeah, that's basically the lesson for today, is don't break the bank trying to update decks. Do what you can do, and just have fun with it. The second part of today's podcast is going to be on a slightly different topic, but I feel like this was something that needed to be talked about beforehand. And that said, I'll kick it over, and future Andy will be right with you.
Hey, did you know that for as little as $1 a month, you can help support this podcast? All you have to do is go to patreon.com/commandersforge, and that is CMDR_forge. That's it. That's all I got to say about it. If you want to help support the podcast, you can go there.
And we're back. Now, for the second half, I want to talk about a couple of things. But the first one is that this last Friday was the first time that I have played Magic in my LGS in over 2 years. And with that comes a learning curve. Our LGS is a little more... what's the word I'm looking for? Competitive than most. Mainly because the people playing Commander there came from playing, Legacy, Vintage. It's just, there's a mindset. And I have to get back into that mindset of not CEDH, but higher power is kind of normal there. So I have to kind of readjust if I continue to go there. And I will be attending one pre-release there next week. But yeah, it's just gonna take some learning to get back into that. I'm also not sure how often I will be going to Friday Night Magic. It's just... Because you see, I call it my local game store, but that local game store is over an hour away and typically goes till almost midnight, and then I'm not getting home till 1 or 2 in the morning. It's a lot. But it was nice seeing people again. It was nice getting to just talk to some of the people that I haven't seen in almost 3 years. Yeah. I'm not sentimental at all. But the other thing I kind of want to touch on is how I've been dealing with my headspace recently. Because it's no secret that the depression's been hitting me pretty hard recently. And I've kind of just dived into other things. Because playing Magic means interacting with other people, and it's just not something I've wanted to do in the last few weeks or month or so. So I've turned to Minecraft. The Commander Social guys set up a server, and I hop on there every once in a while. But other than that, I mentioned a couple of weeks ago about how I had pre-ordered the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And I fell in love with those games. So my first blind playthrough of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 took me about a week. And I wasn't looking up guides or anything. It was just, wanted to see how fast I could do it without, everybody dying. And then once I beat it, I turned around and said, okay, now I want to take the time to actually do all the things that I skipped. And so I started again. And I've been playing that. And I'm basically at the last mission of the third game. And I've held off completing it for a little bit. I'm trying to decide how I want to end this playthrough. Because there are the 3 choices, and there's no... I feel like there's no right answer, but there are wrong answers. And it's just kind of how... whatever you decide alters how the galaxy moves on. If you choose to destroy the Reapers, it destroys all synthetic life, meaning all of the work you did to end the Quarian and Geth War is for nothing. But if you choose to control the Reapers, who's to say somebody couldn't come by and take control from you eventually? Meaning that the Reapers could still be a threat. And the synthesis one is just weird. It makes... It shuffles DNA with technology. I don't know. Either way. I'm sure there's no real ramifications for any ending you choose. Even with the new game coming out sometime in the next couple of years, I'm guessing. But yeah, that's how I've been dealing with this spicy headspace. And when I am, messing with Magic, it's more just goldfishing a deck, because shuffling cards can be relaxing. Or just pulling cards and being like, I can throw this in this deck. But hey, I think that's enough rambling for today. If you would like to help support me, you can like, subscribe, leave a rating, comment, help me pay off the IRS. Yeah. All those links will be in my description under my link tree. And, yeah. I think with that, I will see you next time. That brings us to the end of the podcast. I would like to thank Nate and Erica Jacobs for designing my logo, and Cody Mulphy and Ian Foss for allowing me to use a sample of music from their band, The Crypt. The podcast can be found on YouTube by searching Commander's Forge. The podcast is Commander's Forge, that is CMDR_Forge on Twitter. I can be found on Twitter at BentzMr, that is BENTZMR. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time, and until then, here's to fun games and sick plays.